when we come into ourselves in a really beautiful and loving way. We just want to be where we're at, and there's so much healing in that. So yeah, that might be emotion, might be crying, maybe laughter, maybe something a little bit more out of the body. But it's really the wisdom of the breath, the wisdom of the innate intelligence within you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lonnie. I am Lady Braven of the Pride, and I am passionate about inspiring, encouraging, and empowering people to be brave and to believe in themselves and to heal and evolve and to grow. And I am also the producer of the Brave book series. Today, I have one of the authors from Ascending Human Consciousness with me today. His name is Zachary Koop, and he wrote a chapter number 3 in the book is called The Language of Breath. And I would like to introduce Zachary by reading his bio in the book. Zachary Koop, also known as 𝐤𝐤𝐤, is a breathwork and mixed mind-body arts teacher. 𝐤𝐤𝐤 lives and teaches in the mountain town of Squamish, British Columbia. He integrates several systems of knowledge and teaching into his practice, including conscious connected breathwork, shamanic medical qigong, and yoga. The collective system of practices he offers is termed 𝐤𝐤𝐤 breathwork. The name 𝐤𝐤𝐤 was given to him and it carries much significance. For example, it is related to ayahuasca and Shiva. The realm of plant medicine and yoga are both highly evolved systems of knowledge and practice for which 𝐤𝐤𝐤 has been a student of and which guide his teachings and offerings. 𝐤𝐤𝐤 dedicates most of his days and time to practice and service. Despite being dedicated to hours of daily practice and discipline, 𝐤𝐤𝐤 is silly, playful, kind-hearted person who loves to follow the natural way of spontaneity. Welcome, Zachary Koop. Thank you very much for being here and having this brave conversation with me.
Thank you for the introduction. It's good to be here with
you. Yeah. So I have to say that your chapter number 3, it's called The Language of the Breath. It's one of my favorite chapters, and I'm going to tell you why. Your prose is so poetic, and the way that you describe your journey into breath work and a little bit of your life path is very vulnerable. It's very beautiful. And I really enjoyed the entire chapter. So much that I would like to share a little bit of it with the audience right now. I don't want to give it all away. I want you guys to go out and get this book. But I would like to read a small portion, just one little paragraph that I thought was really powerful and potent. It has to do with breathing, on breathing. You are always consciously creating the conditions of your reality. The process of awakening is discovering what choices we are making unconsciously and choosing to consciously direct our evolution towards the benefit of all beings. Your breath and intention is what drives the unfolding of your destiny. There are many practices and ways of working with breath, but know that it is the only anchor to source that no one can ever take from you. And all of the wisdom of creation lies within the language of the breath that only you can decode. I love that. I love the whole entire chapter. Thank you very much for sharing this chapter in this brave book. I can tell that you really enjoy writing. Do you have any plans for an upcoming book project, or have you been writing for a long time?
Yeah, actually I have an upcoming book called The Heart and Breath of Tantra. And it's an emphasis on the heart, the love, the art, the beauty, and the breath, the conscious experience of Tantra, the embodied experience of the non-dual reality where spirit and the sacred and the profane and all is one. So it's a number of technologies that I share in there from the Bhagavad Tantra, a very ancient book of Shiva's teachings on essential ways to realize your true nature through these meditation techniques. And I started writing when I was like 22, 31 right now. And I obsessively wrote for several years. I was very much on my own, very much doing a solitary journey for many years. And writing was a way for me to enter into the void and really touch upon other energies. I would often write from different people's perspectives, like a pregnant woman. And I was really channeling and tapping into things beyond my consciousness. And that for me became a deep meditation practice that I really dove into for many years.
Yeah, like I said, your writing is very eloquent. It's very beautiful. And you share a very vulnerable, personal story of your own journey into the language of breath in the book. Okay, so I've had a breathwork session with you, but would you please maybe talk a little bit about the principles of breathwork and what you would do in a session with someone, maybe if it was their first time, what you would be looking for and what you would be sharing?
Absolutely. Yeah, we had a beautiful session. So thank you for that. It was outside in the sunshine, which is always an amazing place to do it because breathwork is about modulating the way we receive life force energy. And when we got the sun beaming down into you, that's straight life force energy right there. And when we learn to receive the breath in our body, that's when we really can shift our, I want to say, like the way in which we're interacting with the nature of reality. So that sounds really big and profound. It's basically that the metaphor is how we breathe is how we think and feel. So in a breathwork session, what I'm looking to do is offer space for an individual to explore their breathing, to listen a little deeper to what's going on inside of them and the ways in which their breathing is going to be telling them. And that's why I call it the language of the breath. The session is about an hour long of conscious connected breathing. So continuous breathing. We use the mouth because it brings a lot more energy through. It also relaxes the jaw, which helps to relax the pelvis. So in this conscious connected breathwork way, we emphasize an inhale that's nice and full. As we expand our inhale, that's a metaphor for our expansion and the receiving of life force. We're saying yes to life, and we want to be able to embody the experience on every cell of saying yes and opening our system at all levels, on all of our chakras, energy centers, just opening ourselves to life. And then the other principle is relaxation on the exhale, to completely surrender on the exhale. This is the balance between yang and yin, sympathetic and parasympathetic. And by retraining the breath in this way for an hour session, we find balance and harmony. We release a lot of unprocessed emotion, we clear the mind, and we realign ourselves with the connection to spirit, which is the breath that comes in us. And we basically rebalance that relationship of giving and receiving within ourselves, receiving more breath, and within life, receiving more energy. So that's it's a little bit about it.
Yes, and you have such a calming, relaxing energy. And I do remember in our session, I did release a little bit of emotion. Like there was obviously some unprocessed trauma or some feelings and emotions that needed to come out of me. And I do remember crying. Is that normal in a breathwork session? Is this all part of the healing process?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The breath is just revealing what's underneath the surface.
Right.
And that could be emotion, that could be a number of different experiences. And in a breathwork session, I'm there to hold the space, to facilitate whatever's there, and to encourage someone to just meet themselves where they're at. You know, as in meditation, as in when we come into ourselves in a really beautiful and loving way, we just want to be where we're at. And there's so much healing in that. So yeah, that might be emotion, might be crying, maybe laughter, maybe something a little bit more out of body, but it's really the wisdom of the breath, the wisdom of the innate intelligence within you.
Right. Yes, and you're very, very good at holding space and bringing that information and that language forward. So thank you very much for our session. That was like last summer, I think, at some point.
Yeah,
Um,
it's really nice.
yeah, so you've been really busy. It seems I've been watching you on social media. It seems like you have a lot of events and workshops that you've been doing throughout the year. And do you have any coming up in the next little while here?
Yeah, so I usually run 2 to 3 workshops a month, usually in Squamish, but also in Pemberton. I go visit my elder for a sweat lodge ceremony, which he holds. And then we do some breath work around that ceremony. And I have a Soul Spring retreat. Ooh, that's a really good one with my dear friends, Nicole and Jeff. And we're doing 3 days of dance and breath work and yoga and all these mixed mind body practices that I talk about that help us to take off all those layers so we can get back to our true spontaneity, our true nature. And then I'm doing a number of different series at Legacy Park and online to teach people medical and shamanic qigong.
Mm. And do you also offer plant medicine ceremonies?
I have done a bit of one-on-one guidance in that way. I don't heavily emphasize it though in my practice. I love to focus on these natural means of reaching these states, though I am in a educational and mentoring relationship to learn and grow more, to guide plant medicine more in the future.
Right, right. I have a question.
Mhm.
I know that you can have, maybe you could explain or describe a little bit more of a Kundalini rising, like that energy and that process, because I know that you can do that with breath work. You can do that through meditation and yoga and dance. Um, can you just talk a little bit about that? Because I've had one of those experiences and I don't really know what happened.
So languaging here, a number of different traditions call it different things. It could be called Kundalini energy. Some call it just sexual energy because it comes from these lower centers. Primordial energy is often used in Qigong. And there's this energy that lives at the base of our spine. And it can be awakened, aroused, lifted through the system. It is related to our energy body. So we have our physical body, and then we have various layers, multi-dimensions of who we are, emotional, mental, and energetic. And within this energy body, there are certain parts of the body which have access to much more energy. So this isn't food energy, calories. This is of a different nature. It's of the more fundamental energy that is of the universe, cosmic energy.
Mhm.
And some of the energy that lives in the base of the spine, the lower chakras, lower dantians, they can be aroused, they can be guided up through the system, which can raise one's consciousness, raise one's vibrational frequency. And this is all attuning through your spinal system, as well as some of the major meridian lines that run through and circulate energy through the body. So when an individual has that kind of awakening, some of the energy has shifted, the consciousness has risen and awoken to a greater sense of knowing what it is, coming into a greater sense of wholeness. Now, these experiences can be spontaneous. They can also be guided with a teacher. And it's really important to have some safety protocols around this and knowledge of it, because it can be quite dangerous for an individual to raise their consciousness too fast or with improper methods, because it can actually burn out your nervous system, can basically fry your energy system, or you can rapidly raise your consciousness so much so that so much emotional and psychic energy comes up and out of you that you have a mental breakdown. And if you're not properly supported by a community and teacher, this can be quite tumultuous to go through.
My
Yeah.
experience was with a very experienced shaman and a friend of mine. So I did feel protected and guided along my journey and in that experience. But what I felt was this overwhelming sense of like love, and every fiber of my
Mm.
being was just electrified. Like I actually thought that I might be able to fly. And throw energy balls across the room because I was just so fully lit up. And I just had this knowing that this is love. This is universal love. And I also simultaneously, I had this realization that I'd never ever experienced anything like that before, but that I wanted everybody else in the world to feel like that as well. And yeah, so that was my profound experience. It was just pure love.
Wow. Yeah. So beautiful when we can have those. And there they are. They're available to all people to experience that, which is so beautiful, and why so many people become so passionate when they raise their consciousness about sharing the teachings and getting other people to experience something beyond what most people experience in their day-to-day pleasure.
Right. And on that note, I'm very passionate about helping people to expand their consciousness. This is ascending human consciousness. And every one of these authors has a different modality for healing, for expanding your awareness and your consciousness, for different healing modalities. Every one of these stories has a different perspective of what it means to ascend human consciousness. So when you read all of these stories as a collective, you kind of get a big picture, and you take whatever resonates with you and you kind of leave the rest behind. But this is what it means to look at something, a situation, or an idea or a concept from all different perspectives. So yes, this is The Brave, Ascending Human Consciousness. It is the third book in my Brave series. This was The Brave, Speaking Truth to Power. And this is The Brave, Courage During COVID. So yeah, if you're interested in any of these books, I'll put the link down below. And Zach, what do you have, if people want to get a hold of you and they want to do a breathwork session with you, or a workshop, or they want to connect with you, so where can they do that?
Most active on my Instagram social media, as well as my Facebook, and then I have a website that I operate to offer these online things.
Okay.
So I'm going to speak those now or drop those in the notes.
I'll put them in the notes for sure. And you said that you have 2 to 3 workshops or events a month. Yeah, I'll put some of that information in the notes on this video as well. Yeah. So is there anything else that you would like to tell the audience about yourself, breathwork, your chapter, the language of breath?
Yeah, I can just share a little piece about what I'm focusing a lot of my time on right now, and that's medical and shamanic qigong. Because not that many people know too much about what that is even. And qigong is actually a fairly recent term, and it comes from traditional Chinese medicine. It's one of the 4 major branches of it, and it deals with meditation, breathwork, and movement practices to holistically treat medical conditions. And there's multi-thousand-year history of treatment of everything from cancer to anxiety. So these teachings are really profound, and at a very quick pace, an individual can learn to feel energy and to move energy throughout their system for self-healing, as well as for spiritual. And they also have a lot in martial or fighting, martial development. So this is a really exciting field, and it's very in alignment with the Western ways of practicing. It's a very non-dual teaching, like a tantra. So a lot of spirituality is very dualistic and very spiritual, and it can be a little bit, let's just say it's very coherent with many of the ways in which people practice in the West here. So these teachings, I feel, are going to be a huge landmark in moving our consciousness and the individual's awareness of energy, because we're teaching a lot of people breathwork in the West, and it's becoming really big. And then we talk about breathe into your liver, breathe into your kidney. And it's like, what? Do we have lungs there? So we're not breathing into them. We're bringing subtle energy or chi into them. So this has to have like a paradigm shift of our understanding of energy. When we start tapping into the fundamental levels of energy, we know ourselves at a different level, and our capacity to create comes at a different level.
Right.
So that's an amazing and exciting field, which I'm so blessed to be able to share the teachings from.
So you are currently learning about that, or you're offering your teachings on that right now?
Both. I'm looking to take it all the way to a doctor of Qigong medicine. So it's a long process of learning, and I'm currently offering.
Amazing. I would definitely be interested in learning more about that. With everything going on in the world right now, how do you feel the current state of consciousness is?
Depends what neighborhood you're hanging out in.
Okay, yeah, I know that was a really broad question, but what I'm trying to get at is, where do you see us? What do you have any encouragement for people moving forward with our state of consciousness and everything that's coming?
Yeah, this time for me has been a complete and beautiful opening into leading my life towards my soul's purpose. And there's
Mm,
never been a better time, as a time when things are shaken up, as in chaos, to reorganize and realign your system towards what you want. So, it's an invitation to always listen to your higher guidance. When any kind of fragility comes, we have a opportunity to be grateful for what we have. And then once again, this is initiation into consciously creating your reality beyond your circumstance, which is true always. And in this time, we just have so much more opportunity to take a hold of our life, speak our truth, be bold, and to reorganize our life in accordance with the higher will. Because so much of this relationship is because things have been out of balance with our relationship with our bodies, the science, our relationship with the earth. So the teachings here are the same teachings that have been going on forever, but we're just in like an accelerated portal of realigning ourselves. So take hope in that and listen to your higher guidance, your breath, and connect with your community. We're there, and it's so beautiful. I love this time.
yes, I couldn't agree more, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really feel like everybody on their own individual journey and their own path, they're stepping into their purpose and their reason for being here, their calling. And I mean, I definitely feel like that's the case for me as well. And it is beautiful. And I am remaining very optimistic because I can see the big picture about everything that's happening. And I'm really focused on my reason for being here right now. And that's to empower, encourage, and inspire people to be brave and to heal and to grow and learn and evolve. And this is the time to do it. This is the Great Awakening. And I believe in all the good things coming. But thank you very much for having this brave conversation with me. I really enjoyed it. And I think that a lot of my audience would be more interested in some breath work and looking into, maybe even in their local areas, some breath work courses or classes to learn about the language of breath.
Of course, yeah. And everything I offer is as well online. And I just want to comment that, yeah, I've known you for a number of years, or at least been Facebook friends and connected with you a few times in that way. And I've seen you just light up in this time, just as you're speaking to, of aligning towards your soul's purpose, and then having so much love and compassion for reaching people, standing up for your truth. So deep honoring for you and all the work that you're doing, all the work that's been done, and all the work that you're going to do, and all the beautiful people that it's going to reach. So many blessings to that work.
Thank you very much, Zach. Thank you. And for everyone else, please comment below if you have any questions or if you would like to learn more about the language of breath. Please like this video as well. And also subscribe to this channel, Lady Braven of the Pride, because we're going to be having brave conversations almost every day. And as we all know, courage is contagious.